is my T-5 here. Gonna take it apart.
Radiator support is almost a little twisted.
Gonna start the fire. And here's the bad news.
Horrible. I guess you got a decision to make.
I do. Hello and welcome to Gearhead 704. I'm Matt, and yeah, what are we doing today? We're doing SSP stuff. Imagine that. But finally, this is a pretty exciting upload for me personally. For the first time, I'm going to sandblast underneath the hood here. So in case you missed the other uploads, we're finally ready for this. All right, but as you can see underneath, pretty much everything is gone. We covered all that in the other uploads. So today, that's the idea. Gonna sandblast it. Now, I also want to paint it, of course. That's why you sandblast it first. You know, sandblast it before you paint it. So Matt's got all the paints here. I'm actually at Fox Mustang Restoration. That's where I do all the work, in case you guys don't know. Plan is to sandblast it and paint it today. I don't know if we'll get to all of that. You never know how these things go. Plus, this is my first time sandblasting, so we'll see. But I'm really excited because the car is finally ready. We even got the windshield out recently and got pretty much all the butyl off. Got some rust spots we got to address, but yes, that is what we are doing today. We finish, it's gonna look pretty good under there. So we'll see. There's the sandblaster right here. I'm using just some black diamond coal as my material, you know, to blast. I've got a Northern tool right near the house, so I just picked that up. This is the same stuff I used on the K member. Well, actually, I didn't use it on the K member. My wife Tiffany did. She sandblasted the K member and painted it. And K member's over there somewhere behind Matt. There's Matt. But yeah, so that's what we used. And like I said, I'm just really excited about this. I can't wait to see how it turns out. So we're gonna go ahead and jump on this today. All right, guys, I want to catch you up to speed because we're doing a little more than I said we were going to do. As we were beginning to tape stuff off and take a closer look, Matt was noticing some rust down in this area. So Matt, you're basically just telling me we need to go ahead and get this off since we're going to sandblast it anyway. We don't want to take the engine out later on.
Right, we don't intend on taking the engine out later on, which I would highly recommend that if we were going to attack this later. So it just makes more sense. Let's just tackle it now. They are rust issues, so.
Yeah, you guys can see, I mean, there's stuff here.
Down here is really bad where the condenser support brackets were mounted. Plus you'll see this radiator support is almost a little twisted in like this and bent in for some reason. It must have been hit by something right like underneath right there.
Yeah, that's the big thing, guys. We want to address the radiator support right now.
Yeah, you'll notice it's kind of bent right here a little bit. You know, it's pretty bad right there. And this bows up, which can make the radiator sit higher, which throws everything out of whack because the fan shroud attaches to the radiator. And if the radiator's out of place, the fan shroud's out of place, and then the fan shroud's hitting the fan, so all kinds of problems. This is not bad enough that I would say replace it. This radiator support, it's not bad enough that I would want to go through the trouble of drilling out all the spot welds and remeasuring the frame to make sure and welding it back on. It's just a little twisted. I'm just going to hammer it back into place a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no major kinks or anything. It's just twisted a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, instead of like using one hammer, which is going to create a bunch of dings and stuff when you're hitting it, I'm going to actually put my big ball peen like this and then hit this hammer with that hammer, and that keeps it from putting those indentations in there. You can see a kink right here. It's been hit right here. You see how this is bowed out and this is bent in? This is a little bit of a kink. So, and you got the same thing right here. And these are gonna be the weak spots of where it bends because there's holes punched there. So the whole thing is not flat, it's kind of curved up a little bit. And whenever that happened, not only did it push it up, it pushed the bottom in, which twisted this whole thing. What this portion will do will cause us to have problems mounting the condenser for the air conditioning because these these are your condenser mounting brackets. They mount in here and bolt on right there. And then your condenser is gonna sit here and then it bolts on with more brackets up top. And if this is bent up, it's gonna push the condenser up and then the condenser won't fit. We're just gonna kind of eyeball it. It's not too bad, so we're just gonna hammer it back into place a little bit.
Just want to update you guys on what's going on, so that's why we're not quite blasting yet. And this makes sense to me to go ahead and handle this here because I don't want to pull the motor out again. The rest of the car we can paint later, but engine bay, we want all this done. made a lot more progress there. As you saw, Matt was using the 2 hammers, and I think this looks a lot better. It's a lot straighter now. And the other thing you saw me doing is the bolt for the battery tray in here. I cut the head off. That was a lot of fun. And now, unfortunately, we thought the bolt would come out. It won't. So Matt is going to use his oxyacetylene torch and heat things up. You're gonna start the fire.
Yeah, and what I'm doing is, if you think about it, that is a bolt. It's got a weld-on nut, so the nut is actually a square flange with the threads in it welded to the body. But basically what I'm doing is whenever you heat metal, it expands. So I'm gonna concentrate the heat on the nut, hopefully to open it up just a tiny bit to release the rusted bolt, and then hopefully I'll be able to unscrew it at that point.
Hopefully twist it out.
Yep.
And the rain is coming in, guys, so we could go ahead, like this is not necessary to sandblast it. We could just leave this, but the rain's about to hit us, so might as well try to get this bolt out.
Yep.
All right, guys, he was able to twist that right out just by adding the heat, so
yeah.
Didn't have to helicoil it or drill it or anything.
Right, yeah, a little bit of heat, unscrews. Now the hole's ready to go. The threads are still good. We just throw a new bolt in and it's done.
Yeah, and he already got some of the paint off for us. Should we do that to the whole car? Maybe not.
Yeah, no, probably not a good idea.
Guys, we are ready for sandblasting. We finally are, but check this out. Come out here. Know if you can see. I don't know if it's showing up. I'm getting rained on. It is raining. It has not rained out here in weeks. It has not rained out here in weeks. And wouldn't you know it, I'm finally ready to sandblast, and it's raining today. It's raining today. This is my luck. You know, and when I sandblast too, I want to go ahead and get paint on. I mean, I want to do that the same day, right? And I don't want it to get wet. I don't want to sandblast the bare metal and let the metal get wet and start rust. I want to go ahead and seal it with some primer at least. So that's why I'm getting rained on here right now, because I really kind of, this is how I feel. This is frustrating. This is slowing the project down. But what can I do? You know, I'm not in control of the weather. Well, we got some other cool stuff for you today. Did have to break down the car a little more than I thought. You know, I took the whole front bumper off and we cleaned up underneath all the radiator support. Hadn't done that before, so I thought we were ready in the previous video. We weren't, you know, and this has been a process getting it ready. I'm just out here getting wet. I do have something else for you guys. I believe I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in this video, is I wanna find out the transmission. I wanna go ahead and crack it open. I know I need to rebuild it. I wanna find out if it's rebuildable. Let me go dig that T-5 out and open that up, and I think I'll throw that in here at the end of the video. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm still getting wet, so. All right, guys, this is my T-5 here. Got it on the table, and we're gonna take it apart a little bit, not the full way. We're gonna take it apart partially, I guess is what you'd say, to see kind of the condition of the gears and give us an idea if it is rebuildable or not. Of course, we still might get into it a little further and find out that it's not rebuildable, but like I said, since it didn't work out for sandblasting today, figured I'd go ahead and tear into the transmission a little bit. So you're gonna see me time-lapse that of disassembling it partially. Matt and I will look at the condition of the gears as far as we can with it disassembled like that and give you guys kind of an idea how we're feeling, if it is rebuildable or not, and we'll go from there. So gonna start by tearing it down next and then catch up with you guys right after that, right after the time-lapse.
So we're gonna go ahead and take this thing apart. We're actually not gonna take it all the way apart. We're gonna take the tail shaft housing off so we can take the top gear, the top case cover off so we can inspect the gears. One of the first things you're going to want to do is make sure the transmission is fluid. Crack it open. So the way you do this, this is the fill plug, this is the drain plug. And it's just it's a square hole. It's for a 3/8 drive ratchet. So we're just using a 3/8 drive extension. Go ahead and take the bottom plug. Let's make sure there's no fluid in there. So the first thing we're going to do, to get this top case open, we need to remove this tail shaft housing first. To remove the tail shaft housing, we need to pull the shifter off. Those are 13mm bolts. There's that. We're just going to go ahead and go to the impact, just to zip them out real quick. Alright, it's sealed with the RTV sealant, so it's just a little stuck. Try to find a place to just pry in there. Or you can use that hammer and just tap on it a little bit. Just tap on the edge, don't hit it too hard.
With this or no?
No, just with the hammer.
It's off.
You go. You use that to actually, it's not a gasket, you use that RTV sealant and it also acts as adhesive. So
you are supposed to use that?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. This is what the shifter ball goes into. This little plastic cup, a lot of times these wear out, and if you get a real sloppy shifter, a lot of times it's because this bushing's broken apart. Your rebuild kit's gonna come with a new one, so we'll just chuck that one. We have to disconnect this block that the shifter goes into. We have to disconnect it from the shaft. The shaft is actually what goes all the way through here, goes to 2 forks, and these forks are actually what moves your gears in and out, or in and out of gear. So we're gonna knock this roll pin. This is a roll pin right here. It goes through this block and this shaft, and it's kind of a press fit, and that's what holds all that together. Anytime you use a hammer, especially with the punch, you wanna wear some type of eye protection, because it is extremely common while hitting the punch, if part of the hammer doesn't shear off, the punches will. So you just wanna hit the head of that pin, that silver circle right there. You wanna knock it all the way through. Kind of just put your finger in there and pull that block off of that shaft. There's a spring-loaded ball under there, but if it doesn't go, that's not worst case. The biggest thing is that we got this disconnected. It may be kind of stuck in here. In that case, if you can't get the shaft to move, as long as you got the roll pin out and this is separated, we can go ahead and unbolt the housing, and when we take the housing off, this block will go ahead and pop off of that shaft.
Not going to reuse this shifter, by the way. This is not the best shifter. I think we're going to get an MGWD, but stay tuned to the channel for that. This is the transmission mount. You see that this one's basically done, so we'll have to get a new one of those.
That's half your transmission mount. That's the other half.
Okay. Yeah, so these two together. And then this is for the H-pipe to go into. So we got that off as well. Still doing the tear down.
There you go. So you're going to take these bolts off. You're going to turn it around, take the other one bolts off, and then we're going to slide that housing off. So now you got this unbolted, and we're gonna get a little screwdriver. You're gonna pop this loose, you're gonna break it loose, and you're gonna push it this way. When you're going this way, when this, that's aluminum, it ain't gonna stick. This flange right here will eventually come up against that block and pop it out. There will be a spring and a ball under there. It's not gonna shoot out very far if it shoots out at all. It usually just stays right in there. Start with right there. Don't pry a whole lot, because you don't wanna crack that housing. You see how this is separated back now? Go ahead and take that block out.
Just pull this up?
Yeah, kind of just like pull it out towards you. There you go.
That might have been what was holding it on.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
So that's the tail shaft housing and the shifter block. Your drive shaft yoke bushing goes in here, and your seal's right there. So we'll place all that stuff before we put this back on. This is your main output shaft. This is overdrive. This is 5th gear. 1st through 4th and then reverse is inside. What we're gonna do now, use that ratchet and start taking all these bolts off. I'm thinking, let's take this out first. Pop that out. This switch is the neutral sensing switch. Give it a little jolt with it. How's that finger?
It hurts a little bit.
Yeah. This switch has got a little ball, and there's a pin in there that actuates this ball.
Right out.
Believe it's got to go this way. You're going to crack the top case open because, again, RTV. Break it loose. All right, now hold on. It doesn't pop straight up.
Coming this way.
There you go. That's right. Now pull it out towards you a little bit, and there you go. So these are the shifter forks. This is 1st and 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and then 5th gear overdrive comes in right there. Here's the gears inside your transmission. Yeah, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Which 4 is a 1-to-1, so it's actually on the input shaft, so you're getting direct drive with no other gear ratio. You got 5th gear, which is overdrive over here.
And here's the bad news. So you looked at my gears, and we just needed the rebuild kit, which is, like I think 450 bucks, maybe 500 bucks.
Yep.
And then you're good to go, typically, if your gears are okay. My gears, well, how are my gears, Matt?
Horrible.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Horrible.
Yeah, my gears are trash, guys. They're basically trash, so I need new gears.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is just obviously bad. If you want to take a quick look here, this right here, is one of the gear T surfaces. It's somewhat shiny. It's fairly smooth. It looks pretty good. You come over here to the next gear, and you start seeing, I don't know if you can see that, but on these teeth, they get a little bit more of a texture, a little bit more of a pattern to them. They're not as smooth as this one over here. And look, as we continue going further to the front of the transmission, as the gears get worse, this one right here, you can see the surface is really ate up, and this is the worst. The input shaft, it looks like somebody took a grinder to them, and that's what happens whenever you're running it without transmission fluid. And also, if you look down here, here's a tall tale sign that it was ran without fluid. If you look down here, I'm gonna get this, hopefully into the light. These teeth right here, hopefully they can see it in the video, but they're blue.
Yeah, I see that they're blue. They actually
darkened or dark blue or a black. Discoloration, that heating is a clear indication that this was ran without fluid, because metal to metal contact without a lubricant creates heat and then it eats up your metal. So yeah, that's what happened here. Unfortunately, it is rebuildable, but just rebuildable in the way of we're going to reuse the housing and pretty much replace everything inside.
Replace all the parts. So the cost just shot up.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely. So I guess you got a decision to make.
I do. So guys, I got to decide what I'm going to do with the transmission. I'm not really sure yet. So let me know what you think down below. Comment down below if you'd like to see me do a rebuild, or I might just get another one. I'm not really sure. So let me know your thoughts, and maybe I'll have it figured out by the time this video goes up. I don't know. But anyway, that's pretty much going to wrap this video up. You know, we were going to sandblast the car. Didn't get that today, although it is nice and sunshiny out now, man. But we don't have time.
Yeah, it's almost 6 o'clock.
Yeah. So I'm sorry we didn't get to that today. Hopefully in one of the upcoming videos, you'll see that, and then we can get moving. So I have a transmission choice to make. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you're okay with the change in the flow. Sometimes you just got to go with the flow. That's what we did today. Big thanks to Matt, as always, for the help today, especially. That was pretty awesome what you did there on the core support. Really, that thing came out kind of nice, I thought.
It came out pretty straight, yeah. Did a better job than I thought I was
Yeah, it looked good. Yeah. And if not, I'll just always blame you forever. No. I can't blame him. He's the one in there smacking it with a hammer. I was going to try it, but I don't want to do that because I want to keep this car. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're stopping in for the first time, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Gearhead 704.